NYC's new mayor-elect, Zoran Mamdani, didn't even wait to unpack his office. He's already challenging President Trump like it's a WWE pay-per-view.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Zoran Mamdani's walking around like he just discovered there's no one above him on the food chain, like the political hierarchy ends with him and God's just his intern. The man wins one city election and suddenly acts like he's the final boss of American government. He talks with that "I answer to no one" confidence, as if the president, Congress, and the Constitution are just his background dancers. It's giving unchecked ego speedrun, the kind of energy you get when power hits faster than logic. He genuinely thinks New York City is its own empire and he's the supreme leader. Maybe someone should remind him that being mayor doesn't make you immortal. It just means you'll be blamed for the next subway delay. Now, Ilhan Omar says America should fear white men more. Yeah, because nothing's scarier than cargo shorts and a podcast opinion.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Ilhan Omar says America should fear white men more, because apparently the guy named Todd from accounting is the real national threat. She's acting like every dude in khakis is plotting world domination between fantasy football drafts. Meanwhile, most of them get winded walking up 2 flights of stairs and think seasoning means salt and regret. It's always funny how people scream about equality while assigning danger levels by skin tone. Maybe stop pretending you're the moral GPS of America when you keep driving straight into hypocrisy. Actor Woody Harrelson says Trump's ruining the country, which is rich coming from a guy whose last 3 movies ruined my weekend.
I wish there were a way to get rid of that son of a and get in a great president, you know, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, and I don't know how much he's going to continue to foment hatred. We have a guy running this country who has unearthed a lot of bigotry and a lot of racism, and it seems to be more virulent than ever. So, yeah, it's strange how it seems like we're going backward. And yeah, I wish that there were a way to...
Woody Harrelson suddenly thinks he's the nation's political savior, which is funny, coming from a guy who probably gets winded arguing with a mirror. He's out here acting like his bong sessions gave him insight into the fall of democracy. Every time a celebrity opens their mouth about politics, the collective IQ of Hollywood drops another point. He talks about dark times like he just discovered electricity. Maybe just stick to pretending to be deep on screen instead of proving you're shallow off it. A mom suing a vet for not treating her son who identifies as a cat? Finally, the crossover between parenting and delusion we didn't ask for.
My son identifies as a cat, and recently I tried to take him to the vet because, you know, it's flu season, there's a lot of stuff going around, he's been sick, so since he's a cat, I tried to take him to the vet, and they told me they could not treat him because they are not licensed to treat humans. And I said, well, he's not really a human, he's a cat, he identifies as a cat. And they're like, I understand, but biologically, he was born human, so we can't legally treat him here.
This mom suing a vet for refusing to treat her son who identifies as a cat. Congratulations, reality just lost its turn to the circus. She's probably already teaching him to meow in 3 languages and practicing synchronized tail swishing for family photos. Next step, demanding a feline medical chart, a vet diploma framed in glitter, and a prescription for Fancy Feast Gold. Watching this play out feels like someone mixed legal drama with a feline TikTok trend and forgot to call the director. Strap her into a straitjacket with reinforced seams and a zip-back closure for maximum theatricality, then book a session with a licensed therapist and a lawyer who actually knows animal law. Rachel Zegler thinks Hollywood stars should share their political opinions because nothing screams qualified expert like a woman who talks to dwarfs and forest animals.
There are times when it feels a bit impossible, doesn't it? To exist in a world where it feels like we can't be louder than a whisper without it making headlines. There's something beautiful and terrifying about how much the world seems to care about our opinions while simultaneously telling us to stick to our arts, our creativity. But has an art always been opinionated?
Rachel Zegler out here acting like the world's been begging for her next political prophecy between movie flops. She's talking like her opinion could solve inflation and world peace in one Instagram post. The only terrifying thing is how convinced she is that singing to CGI birds makes her a philosopher. Hollywood really breeds this level of self-importance like it's an elective class. Maybe the criticisms are right. You should stick to your art, because reality doesn't come with a script. People who argue politics in the real world don't get retakes or makeup artists to fix the damage. Be grateful for your fame and stop pretending you're a patriot. When things go bad, you'll be on the first flight out of the mess your woke preaching helped create. So this Brazilian fan is outside Lady Gaga's hotel begging her to come out. Somewhere between love, devotion, and a group therapy session that got way too musical.
Gaga! 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 Gaga!
Brazilian fans outside Gaga's hotel screaming for her to come out like she's the second coming of pop. They're out there crying, sweating, and probably forgetting they have jobs, all for a 5-second wave. At this point, it's less little monsters and more emotional hostages. Gaga could drop a napkin and someone would auction it off as a sacred relic. Maybe try channeling that passion into getting a life instead of waiting for one to wave back at you. This TikToker says Billie Eilish is loved more than billionaires? Yeah, because writing moody songs totally beats creating jobs and paying taxes, right, genius?
Let's compare these three, shall we? Billie Eilish, 23 years old, just donated $11 million to help make sure Americans don't go hungry. Her net worth is $50 million. That means she gave away 22% of her net worth. Now let's look at philanthropic billionaires. Elon Musk, worth $486 billion, donated $101 million this year. That is 0.02% of his wealth. Mark Zuckerberg, worth $245 billion, has donated about $5.1 billion across his entire lifetime. That is 2%. So the 23-year-old artist gave a bigger piece of her world than the richest men on this planet combined.
So this TikToker thinks Billie Eilish gives a higher percentage of her money than billionaires? That's adorable, like a toddler explaining taxes. It's easy to give back when your biggest responsibility is remembering lyrics, not running companies that feed thousands of families. Billionaires don't just hold concerts, they hold payrolls, investments, and entire industries together. Billie can donate a few million and still nap. A CEO sneezes wrong and 1,000 people lose jobs. Maybe learn the difference between a performer enjoying fame and a billionaire carrying the weight of global economics before making charity math sound like a talent show scorecard. Pro-Palestine protesters rewrote Christmas carols at a mall to claim Jesus was Palestinian. Nothing says holiday spirit like turning jingle bells into a geopolitical debate.
Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Now is the time, now is the time, now is the time, now is the time. We're here to take a stand for the Holy Land. We have one to know, peace on earth. Everyone deserves a peaceful nation. Everyone deserves a liberation. We can end illegal occupation. We can end illegal occupation. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Now is the time, now is the time, now is the time, now is the time. We're here to take us.
These protesters couldn't even wait for Christmas to start before trying to ruin it. They rolled in with their Jesus is Palestinian banners like anyone came here for a political sermon. Nobody's shopping, singing, or even celebrating yet, and they've already turned the holiday spirit into a history debate no one asked for. They act like killing the mood earns them moral points when all it really earns them is eye rolls. Maybe stop hijacking every peaceful moment just to feel relevant for 5 minutes.
Jennifer Lawrence says she stopped speaking out against Trump because celebrities have zero influence. Took her a few years, but welcome to reality, Katniss.
You have been politically outspoken in the past. In the first Trump administration, you had a lot to say. I'm curious how you feel about talking out now.
I don't really know if I should. I think the first Trump administration was so wild, and just how can we let this stand? I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But as we've learned, election after election, celebrities do not make a difference whatsoever on who people vote for. And so then what am I doing? I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to just add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. I mean, we are so divided. I think I'm in a complicated recalibration because I'm also an artist, and with this temperature and the way that things can turn out, I don't want to start turning people off to films and to art that could change consciousness or change the world because they don't like my political opinions. I want to protect my craft so that you can still get lost in what I'm doing, what I'm showing.
Finally, a Hollywood celebrity who actually figured it out. Shocking, I know. Jennifer Lawrence finally realized that fame doesn't automatically come with political wisdom. It just comes with a bigger microphone. For years, she was out here preaching like her movie credits made her a moral compass, and now she's finally learned that most people just roll their eyes when celebs start acting like politicians. It's refreshing to see someone step back and realize their job is to entertain, not educate the public on issues they barely understand. The best part? She's admitting what everyone already knew. Hollywood opinions don't pay bills or change laws. They just make people cringe. Keep that energy, Jennifer. Stay in your lane, focus on your work, and make fans happy by perfecting your craft instead of pretending to run the country.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dose of chaos, hit that like button. It tells YouTube I'm still doing something right. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next round of internet insanity. See you in the next one.